On December 13th, 2015, the first 2 episodes of Nexo Nights aired on various networks depending on where you live. For me, it was Cartoon Network, because I'm American. On that day, the world was introduced to the greatest LEGO series to ever exist. I was 9 years old, and after I watched those 2 episodes, I was hooked. I genuinely do not know what happened to me, but it was the best thing ever, because for the next few years of my life, I watched this show religiously. I knew the exact day and time that new episodes would air, and I would just sit at home all day waiting for it. Not even an exaggeration, like one time I was coming home from a vacation and it was super late at night and I hated the car ride, but I was like, it's okay, I get to watch the new Nexo Nights episode when I get home. I'm not even kidding, that was my thought process. So I'm sure you can tell already, but yeah, this show was and still is very important to me. This shit changed me, and I cannot even describe how or why or the feeling even. It's just, it is a piece of my soul. And I just want to yap about it for a bit because it's the anniversary, baby! Woo! I love you, Nexo Nights! So, what makes Nexo Nights so good? That's a great question. And a question that's answer will vary depending on who you ask, but for me, it's the main characters and their relationship as a group. Okay, think about it. The main cast of this series consists of Clay Morrington, the leader of the group, who is obsessed with training and the Knight's Code to the point that he torments everyone else in the group with his insanity, and most of the time he either doesn't know or doesn't care that he's being a weirdo. Macy Halbert, the kind of second in command, who is the Princess of Knighton but doesn't want to be a princess and just wants to do knight things and be a knight-based feminist icon. Aaron Fox, the loose cannon of the group, who is both a thrill seeker and a chill dude at the same time, somehow. Lance Richmond, the, for lack of a better word, bitch, who is rich, has a massive ego, and is also responsible for some of the worst things that have ever happened between the Knights, but we're not talking about that in this video. There's Axel. He's, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. And finally, there's the antagonist, but not really an antagonist, Jestro. He's the anxiety-ridden girl failure clown man that everyone in the fandom loves. And for good reason, he's great. There's also Monstrux / Book of Monsters, the real main antagonist, but whatever, man, he should have stayed dead. And that's the main cast of Nexo Nights! Now, what makes them as a team special is that they're supposed to be a found family, but they're also extremely dysfunctional. But through the series, they grow closer and become slightly more functional. Now they still have some work to do, especially Lance, that bitch! But hey, they're all trying to be better people, and I think that's part of their beauty as a group. Friend groups aren't always sunshine and rainbows. Especially, this is unscripted, by the way. This part is unscripted. Especially, groups that are kind of forced to be together, like the Knights are. They've been a team since they were children. They were kind of put into a team at the academy, and then they just had to live with it, so some of them didn't ask for that. But yeah, they're trying. They're trying. Some of them are trying. Lance. A lot of the appeal of the show is the characters and the interactions they have. Because of their eccentric and usually clashing personalities, the craziest shit happens between them, and it's just normal for Nexo Nights. Listen, I can tell you something wild that's happened in every episode. Watch this, watch me right now. Okay, in the first 2 episodes, there's this moment where Lance and Clay physically fight each other for what's implied to be hours because neither of them can take the L in an argument. And there's also Aaron literally doing the Nexo Nights equivalent of the Cowabummer meme after Murloc literally dies. His reaction to death is to be oh man, That sucks. In episode 3, the team spends like the entire episode fighting with each other, not even exaggerating. And also this one conversation at the start, oh my god, it's so good. I love this show.
It's your fault we keep losing, Lance. And why don't you ever pay attention to my offensive formation orders? Because they're so offensive.
Episode 4 has the Clay scene. Not an interaction with other characters, but like, holy shit. You know, it's the scene where he sits outside staring at his book for hours because it got blown up. Like, he cannot even fathom where to go from here without his book. You know, it's that scene. The entirety of episode 5 is insane, but I'm partial to this moment in particular.
Well, honestly, your lack of modesty is scaring me a bit. Oh, sorry, man.
No, the context does not make this better. Episode 6, the Knights act in a movie, and it goes exactly as you think it would go. I love that all the Knights have different levels of ability when it comes to acting, if that makes sense. Like, for example, Clay cannot act for shit, and does not want to act for shit, but Aaron is giving it his all, and it's amazing. Episode 7.
I love food with spines.
You don't need context for this. Episode 8, oh my god, the entire thing is insane, but this moment?
What's happening to me? Am I dying? This feeling, I've never felt it before.
It's called being unpopular.
What? You mean this is what it feels like when no one likes you?
Again, you don't need context for this. It's already perfect. Episode 9 and 10 are played pretty straight, but they have their moments that aren't crazy. Like Lance having a mini mental breakdown, and Aaron being a badass because he is so cool. Underrated knight. I love him. Okay, I did season 1, and I'm gonna stop there, but I think you get the point. Crazy show. But don't worry, the next seasons do continue to be insane, with such moments as this one.
You know, money isn't everything, Lance.
Bite your tongue. How am I supposed to get everyone to do my work for me if I have no money?
Have you ever thought that you could simply do your own work?
And this.
Yeah? Stick a fork in it, you toffee-nosed marmot licker.
Take Mr. Morrington to the tower room.
And this.
Oh, right. Jestro. Put some effort into your costume next time. Where'd you get that jester hat? Jokes are us.
Like you should talk, Lance a not.
So yeah, the character interactions, the plot, wild, top tier. But aside from the funny stuff, there is one last thing about Nexo Knights that I think is important to why this show is so good. And that is, well, yes, the characters are all insane. They also have depth and problems that make them feel more real. There's the one the show actually focuses on for a little bit, Macy, where her father wants her to be princess of the kingdom, but she wants to be a knight, and they have like on-screen arguments about this. And they kinda come to a resolution about it, but they also kinda don't. Like, her dad is still a bitch by the end. Like, I don't know. His support feels very performative, but also that could just be my subjective opinion. All of this is my subjective opinion. This entire video is my subjective opinion. But there are also issues that the show mentions but doesn't focus on. Like how Lance has terrible abusive parents that controlled him for his whole life and made him who he is today. And how his ego is partially a cover-up for how much he hates himself for being such an awful person. Or how Aaron was too hyperactive for his parents to handle, so they shipped him off to the academy and we never hear of his parents again. Or the fact that Clay's entire identity is basically just being a knight, and he gets all of his morals and values and stuff from the Knight's Code, and he has literally nothing outside of being a knight. Like, no hobbies, no nothing, just knight. Or Jestro, as a whole. Poor man has no family, was a homeless, starving child, couldn't find a job because he was shit at everything, tried to be a knight but got bullied so hard he stopped doing that, and then he became the court jester and gained a literal phobia of being laughed at from that job. Oh my god! Oh, and there's Axel. There's no trauma in his life, he's just kinda fine. But yeah, these people have problems. But despite this, they are trying to be better people. To not only be knights and help others, but to be better to their friends, and to deepen their bonds. Okay, well, the only time this was actually focused on in the show is with Jestro and Clay, but like, that was so banging though! Season 2 episode 8 was the shit! and them all being together at the end of season 2, like, yes, this is how it was meant to be. It was meant to be the 6 of them, the knights. Ignore that Jestro goes right back to being evil in season 3 because the status quo must be adhered to for the plot of season 3 and 4 to work. Ignore that! So yeah, Nexo Knights. I love Nexo Knights, and I hope to talk about it more in the future. Did my voice crack? I don't care if it cracked. We're keeping that shit. I'm planning on making a whole series of videos examining each of the main characters because, oh my god, I love them so much. I don't know when I'll get even the first episode of that potential series done, but I will do it eventually. Also, this video is low-key my way of saying, hey, I'm not dead. I've been gone since January, but don't worry, I am alive. I'm actually cooking a very long video right now, and I have no idea when that will be out, but it'll happen. Don't you worry. I'm cooking. Don't you worry. So that's it. In short, Nexo Knights is the best show, and also happy anniversary, Nexo Knights. I love you.